progression in that Leander crew, slightly higher rating, but they are both going for it. And now we see the Marlow crew putting everything into this. It's a mixture of juniors and seniors. They wanted to put out their fastest women's crew. It's the 150th anniversary year. They wanted to field the best they could for the Wargrave event.
Yeah, and I love that explosion from nothing to everything, whooping and hollering and powerful strokes as they get up to speed. And well, Leander, well, they had a really, really strong start from this development crew. Not raced this season, so they haven't had to be tested as yet, but they've made a strong start here.
Well, they are part of a really fierce group of women training, developing at Leander. They're in a number of events, and they want to put the marker down. They want to be seen as future GB athletes. They've got aspirations to win a Henley medal and go beyond that, and they are really impressive there again. Great rhythm coming from that stroke, really long, and you can see the parallel oars and the horizontal nature of the stroke. No digging, the oars aren't going deep. She's giving a great lead out for her crew there.
Absolutely, it's great to see this. Not much time in the boat this year compared with the other years potentially, but determined to make up for that with some great experience at Henley Regatta. They're approaching, you see there the sign, the barrier mark is about 600 metres down the track, and so at this point they've already got clear water over their opponents, their neighbours in Marlow, and they'll just be looking to practice a good first phase of the course. Most of these crews in their first race, regardless of how the race goes, I think will be expecting to give it a good push, maybe to the barrier, maybe to fully our halfway mark.
So we see the barrier that they're coming up to there. They'll look at the times, they'll look at the times the other crews are doing in the event, they'll look at the times they did yesterday. They'll be thinking about how do we squeeze more out each day, each race. How can we get more efficient, add in more power, make sure we empty the tank and have the race plan that works for the crew.
Absolutely. Glance across from the cogs there, a little bit of information. Now, the coxing job is always important in the Nate particularly. You've got to get your athletes completely in tune. I think the cox is always doing a couple of things. One is information, like where's the opposition, where are we on the race, how many minutes in, what's the markers, what's still left to do. Then there is technical input. How are we doing versus in training? Can we row better? What is the pattern that we need to be doing? And then, of course, there's motivational input, and that's what's going to be happening here in the Marlow crew. They need to be motivated. They'll know now that they cannot see out of the corners of their eyes. You shouldn't turn your head in a boat. You can't see your opposition, so it's down to the cogs here to motivate the crew, and that's what Aisling Humphreys-Griffiths will be doing, 24 years of age, sitting in the cox's seat there.
So Aisling has come from the Oxford Brookes Women's First Aid, so great experience at this event, great experience of what racing is like, and yes, she'll be needing to get that alchemy right between the motivation, the information, the technique, and make sure that the crew need to put out their best performance. You never know whose physiology is going to pay out over the full course. We can see at the moment it looks a bit more power in the Leander crew, but really strong. They're not giving up in that Marlow crew. They're going to fight to see how fast they can go.
And this year at Henley, it's all about the women, Kath, isn't it? You see umpire Sarah Winkless there umpiring this first time we've had at Henley the Wargrave Challenge Cup for women, one of 3 women's 8s events here for the first time. We have a new launch here named Bodicea after female warriors. So Henley is really seeing a change and its leadership in bringing women more into rowing, and as we said, building programs to put great women's 8s out on the water. And it's brilliant to see this quality already in the first year.
That's the incredible thing. As soon as the events were announced, there was planning, there was development happening, there were more girls coming to rowing clubs, there were coaches looking out, searching. It's created a real buzz, and there's been absolutely no delay in filling up these events, and it's exciting, and that's the wonderful mix of tradition and modernising that has to happen, and that does go on with a regatta like this.
Yeah, you know, it looks like it's never changed, Henley, doesn't it, since it began 182 years ago, but actually it's massively changed. Hugely diverse pool of athletes coming from countries around the world. We had 17 different nations represented in 2019, rather fewer here, only 9 or 10 I think this year from abroad for fairly obvious reasons, but as you say, constantly evolving. The best crews in the world want to race here. We've just had Olympic champions from 2 different events racing down this track, and now it's the Leander development squad, the development boat, not raced this season but getting some amazing experience. And look at that, it's really quite a cohesive crew for a crew that's not raced before.
Both doing a great job, and they're both in the world of development, and obviously the Leander squad is much more established, whereas at Marlow they are just at the beginning of growing a group. They want to be attracting some juniors, university returners. They've got all sorts of people they've been growing under Matt Evans, who's doing a great job to really set up a performance squad at Marlow. And for them, this is about putting a marker down this year and then building on that further next year.
Yeah, and I love the fact that in this Marlow 8, what they've got is senior and junior athletes. You know, the age is ranging from 16 to 29 years of age, and I do think you can learn a lot by rowing with people of you know, different eras, and it really lifts you as a junior to gain some experience from rowing with people who've rowed for 10 or more years more than you have.
It's one of the great things of the sport. I mean, look at Andrea Proska. She only took up the sport at 27 and she's got a gold medal from Tokyo in her pocket. Others, we see juniors who've been racing for years. So it's that wonderful mixture.
Yep, absolutely. So women's rowing just building and building and building, and Leander, well, they're super committed to that. It's one of the great things that they've done over recent years, is to build strength and depth and breadth into that squad at all levels. And Marlow starting the road to do the same thing. This is their pathway program for high performers, and we can see the faces of women ranging in age from 16 to 29 years, attacking all the way down the course, gaining valuable experience of competing on this famous track that's seen internationals of the highest caliber at every level.
Absolutely, they had their biggest entry ever at Henley Women's Regatta. This crew have been racing in a mixture of 4s, 8s, and you know, different combinations. So for both these crews, it's been about getting experience, getting out on the water this summer, which we've all wanted to do and been thinking about after all those months of ergos, and learning, being part of this regatta. And for Leander, they'll be thinking, how far can we go in this event now?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's interesting to think about, isn't it? Lots of land training being done at home, and how do you kind of make up for lost time in the boat given that? What do you do to try to build through that approach as they approach the finish here? That's something that Leander have been working on and Marlow have been working on. So closing few strokes of the Wargrave Challenge Cup, a convincing win for the Leander women's development boat, and as they cross the line they'll be happy with that and looking to progress through the Wargrave Challenge Cup. Marlow coming through just a couple of lengths behind. Strong effort from them, committed to a development program. We're going to have some exciting races in this event for many years to come. So